it and get the exact shade you want, and that's what you drink. Anyway, we diverged or converged.
So I think what I care about is making money. It's where I wear my own logo with a fist crushing money. It's where I started, and then I retired and took 10 years off, and now I'm back at it. It was longer, actually. I retired in 2003. Now it's 2019. Maybe I started 2 years ago. So that's like 14 years I took off. Now I'm back at it. I think making money is why people are in crypto. I really don't think the majority of people, or even the minority, are in it for a reason different. I think making money is the best thing you can do in crypto. So I think we should talk about that, making money in crypto.
That's a subject dear to my heart. And I think that that's a fundamental problem in the crypto world, is that everybody's looking at it as a way to make money. No one's looking at what I believe was the original intent, starting with Adam Back's paper back in 1985. The original intent was to provide a means of currency which was more powerful, far quicker to transact.
I halfway agree.
Well,
I'm halfway with you.
And then I think it transformed into a freedom sort of movement. Like, hey, this is our currency. We own this. It came from us. This didn't come from the bowels of some government or from IBM or Samsung. Oh, fuck no, it came from the people. And this is the blockchain. Fuck cryptocurrency, just the blockchain is a world transforming technology. And if people don't see that yet, then move out of your mom's basement. That's all I can tell you. But it is a world-changing technology.
So
if we use this appropriately, I'm almost an anarchist in my political beliefs, and I think power to the people is what life is all about. And if we use cryptocurrency for an intended purpose of transacting business, for buying and selling of goods and services, then what happens? Since we are controlling where coins are being created all the time and new blockchains are being created and new ways of doing smart contracts, and if we own this technology ourselves and don't let the government or a regulatory body or a bank tell us what to do, it can literally free you people. I mean, what controls your life? Money, the dollar, the yen, the British pound. You can't pay your rent without it, can't buy a car, send your kids to school, get medical care, nothing. It controls your life. And who controls the fiat currency? Oh, God knows who in some countries.
Right.
Feds, government, regulatory bodies, they all influence, financial institutions influence what your labor is worth. If the dollar is devalued by doubling the supply, your labor was what was lost.
So I agree with a lot of this. So I'll try and I usually start hammering the old blockchain and being mean to it and then be nice to it at the end. I'm going to do it backwards this time. I'll be nice to it up front. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum have gone up from zero to many thousands of dollars. I got into Bitcoin in 2011 when it was 30. I used to mine full blocks on my own with no pool. Back when the reward was 50 Bitcoin per block, this stuff used to be free. And then that phase died out very quickly because it became very competitive. Then it went up to 20,000. Okay, so let's say you got in at 20 and it went up to 20,000. That's 1,000x. Ethereum went even higher, even faster. Ethereum did a 4,500x in 3.5 years. So, people that got into Ethereum during its initial launch, where people traded Bitcoin for Ethereum, did better than Bitcoin holders did, and they did better faster. That was really pissed me off because I didn't own any Ethereum. I just owned a lot of Bitcoin, and that's why I became public. I'm like, hey, wait a second, I don't have any Ethereum.
For a couple of years, Ethereum was absolutely in lockstep with Bitcoin at 1/10 its price.
Interesting. Yeah, but that was before for a long time I didn't even know existed.
Starting in 2017.
So whether blockchain can change the world or whether your cryptocurrency of choice can change the world, that doesn't really matter if you care about becoming very wealthy. because you can become very wealthy with these things. If you care about becoming very wealthy, we have very little adoption, and yet these things are the best performing assets in the history of mankind. Imagine if we had good adoption. It would be even more insane.
Yes,
so,
which is another reason we have to adopt. We have to actually use the fucking currencies. That's where the value comes from. Why do you think Bitcoin went up in price? Because people were buying pizzas with 50 Bitcoins to begin with, right? And then
about 10,000, the first one.
Other people started using it, and the more you use it, the greater the demand. And that's the issue. We need to increase demand again by using these currencies.
There's an art to that. So I think that's wrong, and here's why I think that. First, there's economics has a formula that states that the higher the velocity of money, which means how fast it turns over, the lower the actual value of the money. What makes a currency valuable is when its supply is reduced, and its supply is reduced when people hold on to it for longer and don't release it. When people actually spend their money, it creates a money multiplier effect, which actually increases the credit and supply of the system, which devalues the actual money, because they're happy to use the credit and other proxies that are proxies of the real thing, and then the real thing doesn't have to rise in value as much. And as proof of that, I would show you that with very little actual use and very little actual utility, we have the best looking price chart in history. And it's because there's nothing else you can do with these things. Now, there is a downside to that. You will need to continue onboarding new users, and if you have a compelling value statement such as fast and affordable transactions, censorship resistance, immutable transactions, you can onboard those users. However, those users are only 5 to 10% of the ecosystem currently. If you care about using crypto, you'll use Monero because it's actually private. You will not use Bitcoin. You will not use Ethereum.
We all know that.
Right. But if you look at the price doesn't indicate that the market cares about anonymity. Most people don't take these coins into their own wallets. And I truly mean most people. There's only 2.8 million Bitcoin addresses that have over $1,000 in them. And most people have more than one address. So that's maybe 2 million people that have got $1,000 of Bitcoin. The vast majority of people that think they're using Bitcoin are actually using exchanges, which are the opposite of what Bitcoin was invented for. Bitcoin was invented to get rid of the counterparties, not create new ones.
Right.
So if you want to see true adoption, someone has to have the margin and the marketing budget to pay for ads that go out into the public that onboard new users. It costs $10 or $20 to onboard a new user. If you can't make $10 or $20 by onboarding that guy, you can't leave your advertisement up. You just run out of money. So the only people in crypto that have ads are scammers who have infinite profit margin, exchanges that bang you up on fees, binary options which bang you up on fees, margin trading which bangs you up on fees times 100. Why do you think they give you margin? So you can trade more money than you have, so they can multiply the house advantage against you. You think you're beating the house when you have, 5 hands at a blackjack table. No, you're just losing more money faster. They want you to have as many hands as you can possibly play. So I
mean, hang on. But here's something about the blockchain which is unique. It's being applied in astonishing new ways already. You say that the people aren't using it. That's bullshit. Almost everybody who's had a supply chain problem for hundreds of years is now using the blockchain to stop all the theft and deceit that goes on in the supply chain. There's a cryptocurrency called DAI, which belies what you just said, by the way, which is a stable coin. You're familiar with it,
yes. That is interesting. So hang
on, but it doesn't matter how much volume you have. It doesn't matter what happens to the crypto market. It never strays more than 1% above, 1% below, and it's working just fine. It's my coin of choice just to dump things in while I'm waiting for something else.
I hope it continues to work.
That way you don't have, there's no off ramp necessary. Why get off when you've got the AI?
Yeah, I understand completely. So I hope it continues to work. Lots of cool economic inventions have been invented, such as a credit default swap, such as mortgage-backed securities, and they worked very, very well for decades. And then a black swan event happened and they stopped working. And so using over collateralization to attempt to defend a price peg can work for a very long time, but a black swan can occur and the peg can break. I hope it never happens, but you have to understand that when you put $1 into a stable coin, your actual value in that dollar is less than $1 because you have to reduce its value by the black swan risk that the over collateralization wasn't enough to defend the peg. And I don't know whether that's 2% or 3% or no percent. I mean, look, Tether has huge counterparty risk and everyone seems fine with that. I mean, probably I would take a DAI over a Tether. So I'm just saying, it's progress and it's good. It's peer-to-peer, it's open sourced. It is progress. I think if you want to get 1 million users on board, you got to have someone with margin. And so unless you have ads on Facebook, if you're Clash of Clans, you get 100 million users a day. There's 6 other games like Clash of Clans that have 100 million users a day, all of them. That's 600 million users a day on your various random casual games. Bitcoin's been around for 10 years, and we are not onboarding new users at the pace that we need to, and we never will be unless the marketing changes. So I created something to fix that problem, and I know that you're attempting to fix that problem yourself. I mean, you didn't get a tattoo of a cryptocurrency because you didn't want to advertise it, right? I mean, how many people out there are willing to really make the effort to speak out, you know? You are, I am. There's not enough of us.
Let's move on. Let's move on to an individual's personal sovereignty and
Sure.
its relation to cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a firm believer that number one, income taxes are absolutely illegal. They are unconstitutional. We never had income taxes in America until 1913. We got along just fine. It's just an easy way for congressmen and senators to fatten their pockets in their districts at our expense. And so I don't think it's anybody's business where I make my money, how much I make, what I do with it. End of fucking story. And if there are any of you out there that believe likewise, then cryptocurrency is an answer. Privacy coins, you mentioned Monero. I think that's certainly the oldest and the most reliable. The U.S. government, by the way, put out an RFP this past January, a request for proposal from companies that could propose ways of breaking into Monero's data. I don't think that they will find a solution, not until, you know, we get way better quantum computers than we have now.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I agree.